My car insurance paid for my car, but except the deductible. But I was wondering, would the deductible fall into my house insurance?
Greg, was your car damaged because of the storm, like a tree fell on it or some debris hit it?
My garage doors got sucked in, and it scratched up my car and everything.
But that was due to the storm, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Typically you're only supposed to be charged one deductible. That's how most policies read. And so if you have a homeowner's claim for your hurricane damage and you pay your deductible, typically your deductible is anywhere from 2%, 5%, 10%, depending on what your policy is. But as long as you've satisfied that deductible, if you have another storm-related claim for your automobile, you're typically not supposed to be charged yet another deductible, which you would typically have under your auto coverage. Usually whenever you have property damage, you have a type of coverage on your auto policy called comprehensive and collision. Those deductibles for that type of coverage, which is basically coverage to fix your car, whether you damaged it or somebody that was uninsured hit it and you've got to get it fixed. Your comp and collision will step in, but there's typically a deductible, usually anywhere from $500 to $1,000, depending on what your policy says. But in your case, if you've got storm-related damage to your auto, you really shouldn't be charged but one deductible.
Kelly, Les brings up a good point about deductibles, and a lot of the questions we're having is like, well, why is my deductible so high now compared to just filing a regular homeowner's claim? Well, there's print on there. Sometimes it's big print and sometimes it's small print that says basically if there's a named storm and your deductible will be 2%, 5%, 10%. So keep in mind when you go to renew your policy, that's a negotiable portion right there of that policy that you negotiate with to limit your exposure in the event of a storm. So you can limit to I think 2% is the base. Is that right, Les?
Yeah. And not only that, but I mean, obviously, if you've got a 2% deductible on your homeowners for windstorm, you're going to be paying a higher premium than if you had a 10% deductible. I mean, premiums are set based on the amount of risk that you're asking the insurance company to assume. We talk about insurance being a contract. Well, when they set their premium, they're trying to decide, and they have these actuarial scientists that run every scenario you can imagine to try to figure out what would be a fair premium to insure the type of risk that you're asking them to insure. You live on the beach, you're probably going to have a higher premium than, say, somebody that lives further inland, maybe at a higher elevation, just simply because your exposure to tropical storms and things like that. So that's going to affect your premium. But also levels of coverages, the amount of coverage you have, the amount of your deductible, those are all going to affect your premium as well. So a lot of times people will go in, and what's really kind of disheartening, people go into their agent, they say, I just want to get the cheapest coverage I can get and make me legal. And you can certainly dial down your premium amount, but when it comes time to try to get your insurance company to help you out when you have a loss, in exchange for having those cheaper premiums over a long period of time, you may find yourself some pretty hefty deductibles and limited coverage.